Welcome back everyone to our next episode on the channel. If you're a first time viewer, welcome, and if you are a returning viewer, welcome back to the channel. On this channel we compare cars, and then I'm also thinking about renaming it to the Buy This instead of this series, to make it more curious and make it more more attractive to other people to tune in and to listen to what I've got to say on the channel. So the topic of today is gonna be for those grocery getters, the VTEC, them VTEC boys. We're talking about the 2020 Honda Civic sedan base model versus the 2010 Honda Civic base model as well. So just like what I did in the first video, what I'm going to do is just go over the specs, going over the engine, going over the horsepower, the torque, going over the features inside the car, and just basically giving conclusion what I think about the two, because what I'm doing here is comparing the similarities and differences between the cars in years, same models but different years. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So we're starting with the 2020 Honda Civic sedan base model. So let's start with the engine. We have a base engine size of a 2-liter engine. It's double overhead cam, DOHC. It's a 4-cylinder, a 158 horsepower at 6,500 RPM, and the torque is at 138 pound-feet at 4,200 RPM. Also for the fuel, it's city it's 30, and the highway is 38 miles per gallon, which put it at a combined miles per gallon at 33. So time for the features. What I did, just like what I did in the last video for the Toyota Corolla, I'm just going to go over basically what's inside the car, not into very much specific, just mostly of what we as consumers just pay attention to, because not all of us, especially I think probably Honda and Toyota consumers, are not really thinking about most of the things that's inside the car. It's either the seats being good, nice feeling steering wheel, that new car scent, the exterior of the car, and if it has Bluetooth or aux cable. I think that's most of what we think about. You have some other people that thinks a lot more in detail, but hey, I'm talking mostly of what we look at a car. So getting into the feature, we have a 2 one-touch power windows, remote keyless power door locks, heated mirrors, adaptive cruise control, electric power steering, front and rear door pockets, front cup holders, rear view camera, tilt and telescopic steering wheel, audio and cruise control on steering wheel, also interior air filtration, dual vanity mirrors, single zone front climate control. And for the in-car entertainment, we have 160 watt stereo output, 4 total speakers, USB connection, and USB with external media control, speed sensitive volume control, and radio, basically, with also Bluetooth. I always have to mention the Bluetooth. So this is my thing about that real quick, right? On the 4 speakers to be exact, right? I know the Honda Civic, it's more compact than what it usually is, and I'm really curious to see how many speakers the other car, the 2010 Honda Civic, has, to see if it has the same 4 speakers and to see if it has more, because if I'm remembering correctly, the 2000 and I think it was the 2007 Toyota Corolla had 4 speakers. And while I'm not very nitpicky about most things in a car, because at the same time I don't really go out of my way to purchase a brand new car, which is reasons like this, because trust me, with my hard-earned money that I'm spending, I want to make sure I'm getting a good car, just basically a good car to my liking, and not spending a fortune, especially on loans and so forth. You already know my thing, where if you watch the first video, which I encourage you to do, you already know my views and the whole loans thing. And if you also want a more in-depth explanation of me talking about more of the car ownership side with loans, this and that and the third, you can go over to Car Money Podcast. It's gonna be the link in the description. So since we got all of that out of the way, so now we can continue over to the look and the style of the car. Now, I'm gonna be very honest. When the 2020, I think it was from 2017 when they came up with the new style, or 2016, one of the two, 2016 or 2017, when they came up with that new look of the Honda Civic, I personally didn't like it at first. It took some little time for me to really look at it, and I drove it one time, and it grew on me, right? It grew on me. So I do like the look. What I like about Honda as a brand is that when they're, restyling their cars, like from the outside, you can see the difference. Among the generations of Honda Civics, you can see the difference in them, like a big difference. I would say a very much big difference, and it also shows that presence, right, on the road. I think I saw like the new 2021, and it kind of looked like one of those Volkswagen one. Like I heard people with mixed feelings, mixed reaction about it, but I'm not really sure about that until I've seen it out in the public, and I get to just see it a little bit more and get around it to really understand it. But most of these cars, honestly, if I'm gonna purchase cars like these, I always wait until they go through most of their depreciation and most of whatever they need to go through before I even look at them to purchase them as a car. It can be a great car, not every brand new car is the worst car, but what I'm saying is that for the way I consume or buy purchase vehicles, I always wait until they go through most of their depreciation. So on the outside, what I really like, right, what I really like that Honda did was with the headlights. The headlights are immaculate. They are amazing, very clean, very stylish. I like the more aggressive look of the Type R and the SI as well, but the base model still carries, what I like is that the base model still carries most of that aesthetic of the car, and I really appreciate that from Honda. I do like their rims as well. I see that they have a lot of rim options. I do like majority of the rims that they offer with the vehicle, and I think this is where Honda and Toyota is really like very different, because I think that Honda is very more outgoing with the style of the vehicle, and they don't only appeal to like just the older generation of people that just want a simple car, that just want, or even younger buyers who just want a simple boring car. I think with the Honda you get more for what you're paying for than the Corolla, if you're looking for more than just the typical, just the everyday car. Don't get me wrong, Toyota do have some cars that look nice, but trust me, it's for a higher price. It's not going to be very expensive, but it's expensive to many people is subjective. I don't want to get into that, but back to just the whole styling of the vehicle. The rear is where it's very, I would say it's very nice. It's very nice. On the different models of the vehicles, you can see where the difference is made as well. On the base model, you can see the difference between it and the SI model and the Type R model very well, very, very well. So I really just, I really like what they did with the 2020 or the 2017 to the 2020 look of the Honda Civic. So yeah, if let me create a rating system. Let me create a rating system on this car, so it's more better to to tell you what I think about it. So for the styling, the look and the style of the car, and also the road presence, I would definitely give it a 8 out of 10, right? Not gonna lie, give it a 8 out of 10, because at the first time when they came out, I know for a fact people were looking, and I know that the way it's styled, the lines, I know for a fact Honda definitely did take their time to make this, the look, the aesthetic of the car very, very well engineered, because Honda is known for their reputation of making great cars. So I would say, yeah, it's a 8 out of 10. Tell me what you think about the rating system. I will put more rating systems for different stuff, but for now, that is what I have. Now it's time for the 2010 Honda Civic base model. So with no time waste, let me just kick it off into the engine. Right, so we have the 1.8 liter. It's a single overhead cam instead of a double, which the abbreviation for the single overhead cam is SOHC. It's an inline 4. Also, it pushes 140 horsepower at 6,300 RPM, and the torque at 128 pound-feet at 4,300 RPM. And for the fuel economy, we'll have city at 25, and we have highway at 36 miles per gallon, which put it at a combined miles per gallon at 29. Now over to the features. First, we have the heated mirrors, front and rear door pockets, front cup holders, amazing, power steering, remote trunk release, retain accessory power, tilt and telescopic steering wheel, trunk light, dual vanity mirrors, and also auxiliary cable. I think the 2020 Honda Civic should have auxiliary cable. I will put it in the video to make sure, but I do think they have it. So over to the style, the look and the style of the 2010 Honda Civic base model. Now for the styling of this car, at the time back in 2010, I would say this was definitely a great example of what great engineering, from Honda, from what they did, because we have a couple of vehicles that is very memorable from this time, and even up till today many people still drive this car in the US. Right, many people still own this car because it's such a great car. It's very reliable, just the same. It puts out the power that it puts out is what you can expect from a Honda Civic. It's not too high. You don't expect like high horsepower with a base model Honda Civic, but it's just enough for just to get everything done, just like a normal car, right, for any other car. But the biggest thing, like I said, that makes Honda different as a brand is it's more of what the car the look and the feel of what they presented in the Honda Civic. So I would say between the two, definitely I favor the 2020 Honda Civic look and style. But my thing is, at this time, but I cannot deny that the look and the styling of this car, especially in the interior, right? I love the monitor, like the monitor right in front of you, the dashboard right in front of you that shows the speed and everything. It was, I would say, kinda a little bit, it's very good for what you get in a Honda Civic, right? And that makes the car even still more like desirable to own as a first time buyer, versus going to the dealership and taking out that loan to get a 2020 Honda Civic. That's the thing between what I do between these cars, is that I don't necessarily, even though the car might still look better, like even though the 2020 might look better than the 2010, the thing is that the 2010 is still an amazing car that still age very good, that we can say, all right, this car is still a great car to get, right, as a first time buyer, or if you're looking to buy a car just full cash, something real quick. Because that is what I do here. I compare the cars and show like if it still makes sense to buy that older model versus its newer counterpart, because all of the newest counterparts of a car that comes out, it's very expensive, also with the interest on the loans and so forth. So that's my whole thing, is that I want to show what these older cars have, how much it actually still have in them, and how much similarities they have between the two. Because even though Honda like very much so changes the look of their car, some of their models are still like the same car. It's just that outside of them are like you know, the outside of them are changed, you changed up, but most of what is inside, you know, it's very much so the same car. But in this case of the two Honda Civics, especially when I saw the 2020 is a double head and the 2010 is a single head, that's where I've seen a difference between the engines. So this is why I do this, to just make sure you guys can understand and see the similarities and the differences on, you know, if you're thinking about weighing either to get a 2020, the 2010, or in between, whatever be the case, right? So in conclusion, since I'm coming to the end of this video, wait, before I do that though, let me put the rating system for the look and style of the 2010 Honda Civic. So for this car, I'm not gonna lie, I would put it at probably a 7.5. Right, yeah, a 7.5, because even though the styling is really good, still good, it's just that they went a little bit more minimalistic. Even though they have the lines aside, they went a little bit more minimalistic, they went a little bit more simple, you know. I do appreciate the small vents. I think the 2021 still, you know, I think the 20, yeah, they still kept that small vent thing going on. So, you know, I'm a very big, you know, a big person on the whole small vents, not too big, because I do like the Honda, the Audi grills, but it's not the oversized one, like I basically like the ones on like the A7s, so forth, because you already know the A7 is my dream car. So I just want to put that out there so no one says, like, when I'm reviewing it or anything, like, hey, you said that you don't like overhead grills, you know that. But I would say I can give a pass to the Audi A7 for that actually fits the car and it looks great. That's what Audi has been doing with the vehicle for a great amount of time. So there it is right there. So 7.5 for the rating system, and a look on the style for the 2010 Honda Civic, because they could have went more. I think they could have went more to do some more style, some more curves, some more lines, some more, you know, carving out of the vehicle, even if it's a base model, because they did that with the 2020 Honda Civic, right? But I would still have it in high regards, because it's still, right, it's still a great looking car. Right, so hey, if you agree with me, or if you want to tell me what you think your rating system is and how the car looks, you can put it right down in the description, right, and we can talk and have a further discussion, right? So I would say, in conclusion, what car I would purchase, right? So my answer is, I would still go with the 2010 Honda Civic, and there's a reason for that, because I didn't discuss the prices, and I will get into that right now. So the pricing of the 2020 Honda Civic is, the MSRP was 20,000. Now since we're in 2021, it went through, probably, I don't know the exact date as to when it was released, but from that time till now, it probably went through just a little bit of depreciation, not too much. So it's still within those prices if you're talking about a brand new 2020 Honda Civic. And like I said in the first video, if you're keeping the car, if you're planning to purchase the car and just like pay it off and just keep it, you're gonna always pay more, right? You're gonna always pay more than what you bought the car for. It's not necessarily a 20 grand. If you buy it at 20 grand, you're gonna pay over the duration of any loan that you will get more money, because what's the sense? You know what? How are the dealerships and other people gonna make money, right? You're gonna pay over the lifetime of that. So on the 2010 Honda Civic, if you get one of those, right, it can be the VP or the DX. Yeah, they have many models, I don't want to get into that, but the base model, I'm just gonna say basically the base model at 100,000 miles, you can get one between 5,000 to 7,000, little, you know, 5,000 to 7,000 something for a car at 100,000. And again, these cars very reliable, Every cars have common issues, that's the next thing, but when it comes down to the overall reliability of the car, it's very reliable. I would account for this car to say I would go more for the 2010 in price to buy as a first time buyer, young buyer, or a person that wants a car to get from A to B, to get groceries, or when to have some little fun, that VTEC kicks in, you know what I mean? Just, just a little bit of that, but that's basically just my whole gist of this thing is that the price to get one at 100,000, it's a very good price. And by the time you own that car and you drive that 2010, you can always in the future look on the 2016 or 2017 2018 model if you want that look of that car in the future, and by that time it will go through a little bit of depreciation by that time, because even those newer models, the newer generation Honda Civic, it's they're very, it's good on the price. It's going down for like the 2017 one in the used section, so you can always check out there. So yeah, that's most of what I want to get across in this video. So my pick as a young buyer, first time buyer, would always be the used car, but I just want to show why. Just want to show the comparisons, similarities, differences between the cars and the models, I should say, or whatever the year. So thank you guys for watching the next video, right? Like I said, if you're a first time visitor here, you can always feel welcome to stay, right, by hitting the subscribe button. And I hope everyone enjoyed the video. Every one of my links will be in the description. And yeah guys, just wait on me to come around. So you guys have a great day, have a great week. Respect.